What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as Ridemyavatar, and today we have Market Watch, your weekly Friday, pretty much knowledge of what cards are going up and down over the week. So let's dive into the video and check out what's been bought out, what's selling, dipping, and what's selling for the highs. Let's go into it. Dive into it. We have Susanomon Chaosman Alternate Arts. Earlier this week, it got listed at $35 a piece and bought out the same day. I think we had above 20 copies at 35, and they're all gone. This is showing you that pre-sales, when they're a good price, snag them. Most people, I'm gonna bet on this card once we get to pre-release, people are gonna list this for $100 and just be funny because that's how they want it. But you're gonna just wait. If you wait a couple weeks, this card will probably sit around that $35 range again pretty quickly. So don't be afraid to not jump on cards unless the sale is beautiful. I think $35 was a very solid price for this card to move at, and you don't know what's gonna happen, so I think $35 for him was not a bad pickup. Then we have Infernmon from pre-release Battle Omni, completely sold out, and that is where it's going to always be. The moment one gets listed for that $15 price, I'm betting it's going to move. So it's really good when it digivolves on top of that Chaosman. It helps the deck out just ever so slightly because it helps you get closer to that Diavormon quickly, but it's a fine card if you don't have it. Now let's talk about it. Armamon, the one that rests, suspends tamers, is such a clutch card in green. It helps win games against the other hybrid decks because resting their tamers and locking them down permanently means that when they digivolve on top of them, they're gonna come in rested. They're not gonna come unsuspended, so they're kind of losing out on resources and win potential, because when you use your tamers as mini breeding areas, you have to be able to punish them, right? And you can't remove them. Suspending them all is really powerful, but it's all gone. I mean, the last one sold for $3, so I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing anybody that lists these for $15. I wouldn't be surprised if they have that value to hold. Now we have Cerberus Mountain Werewolf Mold. This card got bought out recently in the last and hasn't gotten back out. So around like the 12th, not January, got bought out. Not recently, but sorry, it just, once it got bought out, it hasn't recovered since. Having werewolf mode be sitting in around the $12 range and everybody buying it is really good because he's fantastic in Lilith Loop. Now that we have Dead or Alive is huge, because the fact is you can play this for 8 off of it, or even 6 if it's the first option you use with Lilithmon out, and then Cerberusmon will gain you 3 memory off of that deal because it's going to pop the Cerberus, and now you have a Digimon with Rush that could win you the game. So important, because now your Zwarts plays the Cerberus, you pop it that way, and boom, you're just winning the game that way. So keep that in mind. Like, Cerberusmon Werewolf Mode is huge card. Omnishout got bought out when we had the X antibody version showed off, and it's not going to come down anytime soon. It's gone. To be honest with you, that $10 range is probably a fair price for this card, and it's going to stay like that. Now we have Blau Kukumon, Blue Lukumon. Lukumon is very interesting. This card is for the Hexablau builds or Azulamon builds. Is once per turn, when you trash a Digievolution for one of your opponent's Digimon, gain a memory. This card is slowly being bought out, and there's only a couple left on market that are reasonably priced. I mean, the $10 version, and then the $10 version is all you got left until you're like in the $15 range, and that's a ticking time bomb before it's all bought out. Sayokomon, this is another example of this card got bought out and it's sitting at $20 and it ain't coming down from there. So this is what cards on the pre-sale, especially if they are the highest rarity, is going to do. They're not going to come down. After they get bought out, the pre-releases get harder and harder to find because everybody's got them. I mean, come on. Like, it's a good investment. Pre-releases are always good because if they are the highest rarity, they're not going to come down. Armamon is another example because he is the pre-release stamped version, but he's foiled, and we have green in itself. But looking at it, he went from the $2 range, $3 range when I recommended picking him up to all of a sudden being this $15 card, and he's going to hold there. I'm being honest with you, there's just no reason for this card to ever come down from this price. The moment they get listed at the lowest price, they just keep going. So if you missed out on this card, you will be sad. But this is all dependent, though. This is a ticking time bomb. Also, because if green doesn't do as well as everybody's hoping for in the meta, you're going to see all these green cards tank. All these pre-release cards are going to load up fast. People are going to try to move them, and it's just going to be filled city. Manoa got bought out during the major events, during Nationals. After Nationals had a few lists with Manoa in it, with Lilith Loop, it just got bought out and just stayed bought out because it's still a valuable memory setter to 3 tamer, but it's really good. You got $12, $13, $50, $14. It's just an expensive card now. When this card was at like $2, I knew this was going to be a ticking time bomb just because it just needed a deck to work with it. But it shows that pre-release stamps are probably your best investments all around. Just they're good investments. They're not going to get reprinted in any way, shape, or form, and usually they're the highest rarity. Yokomon from Battle Omni. This card, ever since BT7 getting closer and closer, has been climbing. It is in the $5 range at the moment. And just to get a playset, I'm just going to say, like, from one seller, you're not going to get it from one seller, sadly. And it's only a ticking time bomb for this thing becomes $10. So it's a good investment all around to grab cards from the pre-release sales. Sanzorimon, just been a ticking time bomb ever since it spiked all back in November. It's just been $30 range city. This card is just not going anywhere. And we have 2 pages of it. And look at that. $45. Oh my goodness. Value on these cards until they reprint them is very interesting. So keep that in mind. Tentamon Alternate Art. Yes, I might be talking about this weirdly, but hear me out. This card really does help out in majority of the matchups. I mean, this helps in green very well because being able to have your next Digi-Evolution from Insectoid or Ancient Insect in its traits, this Digimon reduces the memory cost by 1 for that Digi-Evolution is kind of huge, and it's the alternate art. I mean, EX doesn't really have much value sitting in it, but certain cards definitely fetch a decent price hold. Got $15 here. That's huge. I mean, like, you got the $10.90, which I wish I knew that was going to be there. I wouldn't pick them up for the 13, but hey, it is as what it is. A Gooney Mom promos. I've been talking about this for months. Every market watch, I did a little synopsis on this Gooney Mom. I recommended it. I recommended getting your foils before we got to this point where they were about 15. Where it's a ticking time bomb where eventually you're gonna see. There we go. Let's see. Near mint foils, $17. You're looking, once those disappear, are for a foil max rarity, you're gonna go looking in the $25 range after a while. So keep that in mind, that it's a ticking time bomb before this thing is probably sitting at 25. Here's Flamedramon. This card has been taking off ever since, and it has not come down. I mean, if you got it, move it now if you're not going to be playing it, or you can wait another week or two, and all it takes is a major event, especially after Digifest. If these decks if this deck tops and takes up majority slots, this card could see like a $40 range. very easily because people will hop on and buy these out as fast as they can. And I mean, there's only a page basically holding this thing on existence. Fairly stamps are such a good investment. Let's talk about cards that have just been dipping. Ancient Garurumon, the card that's been sitting here at its hype for a longest time at like $45, has just been slowly tanking. And that's just because you don't play it as much. And even with our competitive meta, most lists didn't do the Ancient Garurumon hybrid with Gabu Bonds. It wasn't Ancient Bonds. It was majority on Rookie Rush focus this format. And this card just fell to the wayside because it wasn't played. And that's viable reasons not to own it. So keep that in mind. Then we have Ryze Greymon. This card slowly is coming back down, but which is good because there's enough listings to hold it for going down. And if you wait long enough, this card will keep going down and back into the $15 range very easily. Do I think it'll go all the way back to 10? No. I think it can realistically get back to 15 if you guys wait. You don't have to rush. Product is still available. Nokia, ever since the beginning of the month, it has been slowly ticking down. People have been moving this at a rapid rate. It finally got its restock, and it's just that. But if you look at it, it's around like after this page gets bought out, you're back into that $20 range. But I don't think that's gonna matter because it's just gonna keep going down, 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 down. Gaia Force from Tamer Evolution packs. Remember when this card was like $120? It has been slowly creeping down. Slowly. I mean slowly. Japanese, screw the Japanese. Japanese, nope, 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 nope. We do not care about Japanese Gaia Forces. We're going to get to the realistic prices. That's Japanese. We're still sitting at a hidden $60. So, but it's slowly coming down, and that's not bad. I think $60 coming down, and this card could come down to $50. Excuse me. Let's see this. Oh, someone bought the Why would you buy the Japanese one? Okay. People like proxying, apparently. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon. It's still a viable card in red, but with the new edition coming out, you're going to see this card just start tanking more because it's no longer the highest version, and people are going to try to sell the one with the stamp higher, and this one's going to coming down. So they're going to be on a constant competitive scale. So I wouldn't be surprised if this Gaia Force gets brought down into the 40 range after we get more circulation of the Tamer Evolution boxes of the ones from the Nationals. So keep that in mind. Then we have Marcus Boxtopper. This card spiked to around $8 at one point, if I remember correctly, and it's just been slowly creeping down since. We're down into the $4.60 range. I mean, like $5 is not bad. Marcus is just going to keep creeping down because he's seeing less and less competitive viability for now. Just wait till that Black War Greymon comes out in BT9. Lightning Joust, same thing. This card saw a massive spike with the red bonds decks, and it's just been slowly coming back down ever so slowly. Just, you know, $3 card. Just let it ride down. You're eventually going to see it. We're going to talk about Lilithmon Alternate Art. When Digivolving, if you have 10 or more cards, trash. This card, remember when this card was like in 70 range? This card has been just slowly moving out. People are just trying to move it out because they don't think Lilithmon is still a competitively viable deck. And they're going to be wrong when they start seeing Loop still doing the shenanigans as it does. With the Cerberusmons dead alive, the new options, the Eismon combos. Yeah, it's going to be crazy good. The only time it dies is once the Eismons go. It just doesn't have enough resources to keep up anymore. Even regular Lilithmon. Remember when this card was uberly expensive? This card is now just slowly ticking down, and we're just seeing dips. I mean, sell them now if you don't plan on playing Lilith Loop. or buy them now and have your stuff. Let's talk about Susanomon. Has been slowly going down, and or look better. Pro play games $40 now. They're starting to now play the pre-sale bidding war, but if you don't buy them now and nobody buys the next adventure stuff pre-sales, then wait until this gets released. And I promise you, this card, it's $40 now, will sit at like 20 bucks. You're gonna see like how quickly this card is gonna tank. Then Chaos Mode Lucimon, same thing. $45 card, already brought down to 35 bucks. And it's on a competitive scale here. Pro games will lower it as low as they need to. So you can compete with them, better for you. I think once this releases, this could see about $20 as well. And it won't be hard for you to make your full playset of this set. Then we have Belzemon Alternate Arts. This card got bought out when they announced EX Collection 2's Belzemon that actually combos really well with this. But for now, it's just going to be slowly creeping up. This card is just a climber. That's all he is. He's a good investment. And that's all he's going to be. I think holding on to him long run is huge. Let's talk about Imperial Dragon Mode Alternate Art. This card, remember when he was like 50 to 120 bucks? Well, yeah, throw that out the window and just go right down to the $25 range. This card is just slowly climbing down, and it's for good reason. It just won't see competitive play. I mean, even when the Imperial Digimon starter deck comes out, you're going to see some major shifts that this card is not going to see play in. Remember that the Imperial Digimon Dragon Mode, this card isn't needed. You have better options. You get fighter mode and you get the trial deck version. They're all just better options than this card. It just doesn't see play, so I'm going to express this card is just not worth it. Greymon, yeah, it's not a market watch without me talking about Greymon. Remember this card being in the $20 range? I did. Well, he's down to 15 bucks. And that's okay. I mean, thank goodness that it's coming down to reasonable prices for people to get their Greymons. But they're starting to realize that the Greymon for Jesmon, that Jesmon is just not as good of a build as they thought it was. It's good in best of one scenarios, but outside of that, it struggles in tournaments when it's best of three because there's more likeliness of you bricking. The higher, on a best of one system, both players have a higher chance of bricking, and Jesmon can easily punish that. But when you get in a best of three, you get in the situations where it just doesn't matter. Greymon, starter deck, you have security +1. This one has been slowly on a down climb too, and it's in the $14 rate as well. So it becomes like a choice of arts at that point. Do you like the Tamer Party Pack one, or do you like this one? So keep that in mind. Now we have Belzemon starting to climb down as well. When this card is crazy, like 45, 50 bucks, now already down in the $20 range. I think that's where she's just gonna go. I don't think she's gonna have more value than this, and that's comes down to the fact is there's not enough Three Musketeer support coming forwards, and or return or 7-cost options that are crazy strong. A lot of them are now 8-cost options in the dual color department, and there's just not enough 7s yet for this to matter. But all it takes is a good couple sets of 7 options that are dual colors, and I promise you she'll get bought out pretty quickly. Now we have Digimon Alternate Art. This card is on a slow decline as well, already back in the $25 range, and it'll just competitively go from there. I mean, look at Core. Core has 14 copies of this thing. If that doesn't sell, that means it's not going to go anywhere. But they had, looking like they had 18 and it got bought out. Okay. Got bought for. Whew. So not a bad card. It's going to just keep coming down. Yes, it's viable in the Mastamon deck, but hey, just wait it out. Black War Greymon Alternate Art is very interesting. This card got a massive buyout when they announced Black War Greymon as a deck for BT8, and this card just slowly started tanking afterwards. It's just coming down. It's not holding its price. It just can't. It's a really good card all around, and I think it had its good pricing for a while, but I mean, it's coming back to its original prices, and it's just going to stay there. It's a good 2 of tech, if at most, and it's just not that crazy. Then we have Yellow War Greymon Alternate Art. I remember this card being super expensive, and man, oh man, this card is coming down again after its buyout, like at the beginning of January, and just boom, it's just slowly coming back down. Just a good card all around, but it's just is what it is. Then you have Ragna Lord Mon Alternate Art. This card, I know a trial deck's coming. I know that depending on how the trial deck is handled, if they are still focusing the same way as Ragna Lord Mon used to, then this card's going to see competitive play. If it doesn't care about how this old Ragna Lord Mon played, this card gets tossed to the side and just said, I don't care, and screw it. That's how this is going to probably be handled, and that might be how this is going forwards. It's a good waiting game. Wait till you see the first couple cards. I mean, if you want to right now, pick these up for holding on purposes and then sell them once the trial deck gets revealed. Either you're going to lose a few bucks or you're going to gain a few bucks. Just keep that in mind. Let's talk about the rest of the pre-release. Howling Memory Boosters at like $27 because Lockdown Stun uses this. Savior Hawkmon still at the $24 range. I talked about Flamemon earlier. Zwart Swarmers at 18s. Inkmon promotes $20. Fly Bullet at 12. Huckmon at 10. Kyrie. TK and Kyrie got bought out. I told you about this because it was going to be used in Yellow Hybrid, and boom, that's gone. But outside of that, Wyvern's Breath, $7. That's kind of neat just to see things just disappear in the specially high rarity tamer department. Ogremon pre-release stamp gone is cheap here, but the rest of it's just dirt cheap. Let's see what's next. We got Battle Omni, got Mega Fusions. I talked about Infernmon, Crucify Elgemon. Like, certain cards are just a ticking time bomb to get out of here, and I'm not joking. Like, you're going to see these go very quickly. Once these things disappear off market, there's not coming back. There's no way of restocking pre-release stamps. They're always a great investments. Let's talk about the Omnimons. Omnimon Alternate Art, $700 right now. I don't know if that's moving correctly, but we got Zwart Defeats, Alternate Arts. These cards are still viable because in purple decks, at least you can pop a few tamers that might just annoy you. Omnimon Alternate Arts are just holding tank values here. Omnimon's Alter S's, I feel like until we get more testing in them, we might see these come down more. I don't know. I can't tell you. Zwart are at $17, $19, $18. Not bad. This one's at 14. Not bad. 14's. Omnimon's just a relatively cheap card. This still pains me. So guys, what do you think of the market watch? Did I miss anything? Let me know down in the comments and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace!